Well, hello out there in TV land. My name is Tim Scott. I am the artistic director at Music Theater Heritage, and I'm also the stage director of our current production of Sweeney Todd, which is getting ready to play its final week. We've had thousands of people come out and see our show, lots of interesting comments and lots of questions, and so I thought I would pop in and give a little insight about our creative process and some of the creative choices and artistic choices we made for our production. We'll start with the scenic design. Lindsay Mummert was our scenic designer, and her and I collaborated on this idea, the idea of being shipwrecked, and how all of the named characters in the play go through their own shipwrecks. They've either been shipwrecked before or they will be shipwrecked during the duration of the play. And the play begins with Sweeney being found, being rescued by Anthony from a shipwreck, and it starts on the docks of London. And so we came up with the idea of sails and hoisting sails, pulling them up, bringing them down in real time in front of the audience. We were interested in exploring the ideas of early cinematic horror films. And so we wanted to use the idea of maybe silent horror movies as a motif in our play, and these sails would provide a shadow box of sorts for us to play. Which brings us to lighting design. Danny Lawrence is someone who I've worked with a ton, one of my favorite designers to work with. And so we talked and even shared, videos of early horror cinema movies. And I think what I found interesting about that, what I wanted to explore, was the murders in Sweeney Todd. Oftentimes they're done somewhat literally, and I knew that we weren't interested in doing that at all. We wanted to find some ways to use all of the creative elements to tell that story. And so again, back to early cinematic horror films and the idea of the light flickering and portraying those in shadow, which gave us the opportunity to morph the images. Depending on where we were with the light, the images could be larger, could be smaller. One person could become three people, depending on where you are in the theater. And I also was interested in exploring the idea of how the flickering light in cinema was also evocative of the flickering light of a wood-burning stove or a fire. And I thought that would be interesting to explore in the second act, in the bakehouse scenes where they go in with the ovens, and having that same kind of flickering motif in those scenes as well. I thought that'd be a nice duality to kind of play off of, and I think it works really wonderfully. Of course, music is a huge component of this show, and our music director, Ty Tuttle, has done just an extraordinary job taking what is a 30-person score, recently done on Broadway with 28 musical pieces, and really kind of paring that down to what we found to be essential, which is just the piano, a clarinet, and a cello. I don't think you'll miss anything. A lot of the music in Sweeney Todd is pretty intimate. And I think that Ty has just done such an extraordinary job paring it down to what is essential to our story, and it really feeds our play very well. If you know Sweeney Todd, even when it's not sung, there is underscoring throughout, which really kind of adds to the emotional tension and richness of the piece. So we really were very deliberate about the musical combo that we wanted in the show. We knew we wanted a reeds player, likely clarinet, there's a little bit of flute in there, but also a string player, cello, because the matching of harmonics between clarinet and cello is so beautiful. The voicing is so similar. And our sound designer, when I talked to Thomas Newby, our sound designer, speaking about sound, I knew that we didn't want to be literal with anything, the murders, the razors, so we've collaborated with lights and sound to create these moments assisted by sound, and we knew we wanted a sound that was metallic, that maybe sounded like a swinging razor, but also was very heightened and very theatrical and hopefully very loud to kind of put you there and give you the idea of that event happening. And then of course costumes. Daniela Toscano has worked at MTH before. We love working with her, and so for us, we knew that we wanted to do an intimate retelling of Sweeney Todd. That was the impetus all along. I mean, I'm sitting in the barber chair right now. I'm on the set. The first row is 4 feet away from me. We wanted to take advantage of being so close and almost immersive, and so we knew we wanted to do it with a small musical ensemble and a smaller cast of 11 people, and that provides challenges for a costume designer, because there are moments when the judge is playing the judge, and moments when Drew Duncan, who plays the judge in our play, is playing a member of the ensemble. Everyone, with the exception of Sweeney, jumps in and out of the ensemble. And so from a costume point of view, that's challenging. And so we talked about the named characters having really recognizable tokens. So Joanna has a light muslin gown. It's white, and that's what she wears when she's Joanna. And when she's not, she takes it off, and she's in the ensemble. The judge has a very colorful cravat. When he's not the judge, it goes away and a hat comes on. The Beetle has this beautiful, extravagant, like navy blue velvet cape of sorts. And when he's not the Beetle, that comes off and he's part of the ensemble. And so I love storytelling like that. I love theater for that reason, because you get to see these 11 human beings in real time telling this very extravagant story. And at the end, you're like, that's it? Where's the rest of the cast? I've had some really great experiences doing plays like that. And so that is our production of Sweeney Todd. You know, the creative process is months. You know, I started talking with our designers 4 months before we even started rehearsal. We rehearsed for 3 weeks, and now we are in our final week of performances. So we play one more week. It's this week. It closes October 27th. If you're interested in theater, I hope you come see us at MTH.